What's up guys, Lockdown1194 here. Now I saw this type of video on someone else's channel. I'll leave a link to their video in the description below. But basically I'm just going to completely rip it off. I have got 20 facts about myself. I feel like I don't connect a lot with you guys, so I figured I'd do this video. I've written down 20 facts about myself and I'm going to go through them all right now. So we're going to start with some simple ones. First fact, I'm 20 years old. Second fact, I'm 6'2", which is good because it's very tall. I can see over a lot of people, but at the same time you get called names like Pantilimon, the Sunderland goalkeeper. Fact number 3 is that I'm the youngest child. I have an older brother and an older sister. My older sister lives in Australia right now and my older brother lives in Derby. Fact number 4 is that I'm a big wrestling fan. I've watched wrestling since a young age and a big reason for that is my brother. Which moves me swiftly on to fact 5, which is that my brother actually does wrestling. He used to watch it a lot with me as a kid, and now he actually does wrestling himself. And we played a lot of wrestling games as kids. My best memories of playing games were buying old wrestling games, and me and my brother would create ourselves in these games and then come up with our own storylines. It was definitely the best fun I've ever had. On the topic of my brother, I've actually injured him once. When we were kids at a very young age, he was actually in this room right now. This was his bedroom at the time. But he was playing, it was like a game with like a blanket over your eyes or something like that. And I ended up accidentally pushing him, and he smacked his head on the corner of a wooden wardrobe, and it like cracked his skull and he had blood pouring out. And we got like a green towel to put over the top of him. By the time he was done with that, that green towel was completely red. And I thought, I was so young, I thought I'd killed him or something. I was really scared. I was so scared that when we was in the ambulance going to the hospital, I didn't want to talk to the paramedic in the ambulance, so I actually pretended that I was asleep. And my brother still has a little scar in his head to this day of when I did that, but don't ask him to tell you that story because he'll say I did that on purpose and I actually tried to kill him. Fact number 7 is a really funny one. I make my own cards for special occasions like birthdays, stuff like that. I don't feel like it really means that much if you just walk into a shop, buy a card off the shelf, put your name in it and give it to them. Like, but where's the love in that? So basically what I do is get an A4 piece of paper, fold it in half, put some drawings on it, and I put a really funny poem in it. I've done it since I was a young kid. I've got to say thanks to my mum for this. She's actually kept the hold of all of the cards I've ever given her. And I've taken 3 right now, and I'm actually going to go through. These are my 3 favourite ones. The poems are definitely something. They're definitely something. Okay, so this was my mum and dad's 23-year anniversary. I have no idea how old I was at this point. But yeah, that's what the front looks like. It's really bad. I was really bad at drawing, and my handwriting's terrible. But this is a poem, a 4-line poem. That's what it is in all of my cards. I'm sorry I forgot your special day. It is very hot. Let's hope it stays. That is it. That is the poem. I really hope I was a young kid when I wrote this, but I get the feeling that I was probably pretty old. Moving on to Easter now. I have no idea why I made this card, but I went all out. Take a look at this. I busted out the coloured felt tip pens for this bad boy. Look at that. Look at that for an Easter egg. But the poem is even better. If you take a look inside. Easter eggs are fun. Chocolate and hot cross bun. Jesus was revived from being immobilized. I don't know, again, I don't know how old I was when I made these cards, but the fact I knew the word immobilized, that's pretty impressive. Now this card is a personal favourite. This was another one of my mum and dad's anniversaries. I don't know, I didn't write down what year it was, but my dad worked in Algeria for a long time. He was away for 8 weeks in Algeria, and then he was back for 3 weeks. At this point in time, he was actually gone. So this is the front. It says, happy anniversary. Dad equals Algeria, mum equals bed. You can have some mental breakfast in bed. I don't really know what that means. But if I take a look at the poem inside, this one's a little bit weird, so just roll with it. To mother, happy Annie, which is obviously short for anniversary. I made a poem. Your eyes twinkle like the sky, and you sleep like a dead dog, nice and quiet. I can't keep a straight face when I read that. You sleep like a dead dog. A dead dog. Why did I type that in? Too bad Dad's not here. But your eyes twinkle like the sky, and you sleep like a dead dog, nice and quiet. Nice and quiet. That's what I thought a dead dog was. Nice and quiet. What was wrong with me at this age? Again, I've got to thank my mum for keeping hold of those. That's really nice of her. But anyway, moving on to fact number 8. In school, I did a lot of PE. PE was one of the lessons we had to do. During PE, we did like a couple of different subjects. Over the course of a term, it would change. We'd do like football, and then next term we'd do basketball. This term we were doing rugby, and we were just playing a game, and I ended up falling with my right arm behind my back first onto the floor, and I landed on my arm really awkwardly. It actually really hurt. So I was just like telling my teacher, dude, my arm really hurts. I can't do anything else. And he was not having it. He was like, go and do that shit right now. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. That's not the funniest part. The funniest part is that for the next 10 days or so, I was complaining to my mum and dad. I played a lot of video games. I was complaining to my mum and dad that when I was playing games, whenever I moved my right analog stick with my right thumb, I got a strange sensation up here. And that was for about a week. 3 days after that, it took a total of 10 days before my mum and dad finally were like, right, fine, we'll take you to the hospital just to shut you up. So, went to the hospital, had an x-ray on my arm, sitting in the waiting room, and my mum was like, they're going to laugh at you when you walk in there. There's going to be absolutely nothing wrong with you. We walk in, sit down, doctor says I have a fractured arm. You should have seen the look on my mum's face. It was literally like, oh. So that's always a nice story to hold over. I got a nice cast as well, and luckily I was right-handed, so when I went into school, I got out of doing a lot of work, which was pretty sweet. Moving on to fact number 9, my favourite film of all time is School of Rock. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. Jack Black is pretty much the only famous person in that film, but I've loved that film for many years. I used to watch it basically every single day. I think it's now got to the point where I could probably lip sync the whole film. I'm not going to do it. Speaking of favourites, let's talk about my favourite game. Fact number 10. It's a really tough one whenever anyone asks me what my favourite video game is, because I play a lot of games, and I like a lot of games. A close second for me is Uncharted 3. The Uncharted series are great, but for my top spot I've got to go with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which is kind of weird, because like I play a lot of console games a lot, but Knights of the Old Republic, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Knights of the Old Republic just hits it just so well. The twist at the end, if you haven't played it, the twist at the end is amazing, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. An amazing game. Definitely a PC game that you should definitely play before you die. Make sure you check it out. Fact number 11, I've actually been on TV before. You'd think it would be for something pretty cool. It's actually for golf. Yeah, not really the most exciting sport ever. I don't even know why, but I was like forced to go into a golf tournament. I don't even think I was told that it was being televised, but we went and there was barely anyone there. A couple of cameras. I didn't really think much of it. But it wasn't until later that day, or later on in the week, when they actually showed it on television, that I noticed that I was on TV. That I was just me, my mum and my dad, just sitting in the background, just kind of standing about. So technically, I was on TV, but I wasn't actually doing anything exciting. Fact number 13, I'm a Chelsea fan. Gotta love the boys in blue. I don't really remember ever choosing to be a Chelsea fan. My mum has always been a Chelsea fan. I've always, as long as I can remember, I've been a Chelsea fan. I don't think I really had much of a choice. I think I was just brainwashed as a kid to be a Chelsea fan. My dad's actually a Tottenham fan, and he has a picture of, like many years ago when I was a baby, of me in a Tottenham shirt, which, no matter how many times I tell him, he simply will not burn it. I can't remember if I said that fact was 13 or 12. I think this might be 13. My uncle was on an episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He was actually in the sea with his wife, talking to Chris Tarrant. He was actually on an episode years and years ago. He actually managed to get £64,000, which is pretty impressive. He now lives happily with his wife in Newcastle. I have no idea if I've got these facts mixed up now. I think we're on fact 14. When I was a baby, I had no idea what I was doing, as do most babies. And one day, I was on the floor. That's what babies do. And my brother was eating something, and he chewed down on it, and his tooth came out, and it fell down onto the floor. Now that is not where you want teeth to be, especially when I was roaming around on the floor. I saw the tooth, I picked it up and put it in my mouth and tried to eat it. I have no idea why. Clearly, as a child, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. Luckily my mum and dad managed to get it out of my mouth before I swallowed it, but like when you really think about it, that was in my brother's mouth. That was his tooth. And then I put it in my mouth. That's actually going to make me feel sick if I keep thinking about it. Fact number 16, when I was about 11 or 12, I played a lot of football, and I actually played for a team. We trained on every Wednesday, and then we played a game every Sunday, and we were terrible. We were the worst team ever. So bad, in fact, that one week we actually lost 23-1. 23-1. How is that even possible to lose that much? I must have just fallen asleep halfway through the game, because clearly I wasn't doing anything. Now, what's even more embarrassing is that later on in secondary school, one of my new friends that I met at secondary school told me that he also played football at that age, and he was on the team, on a team that won 23-1 in a game. So yeah, that was pretty awkward. Fact number 17, in 2008 I went to California, or Florida, with my family on a family holiday. We was there for 2 weeks. The first week was unbelievable. It was like so nice and hot, and everything we did was amazing. America's a great place. But the second week, it wasn't as good. We were sort of in the middle of a hurricane, tropical storm. I think it was downgraded to a tropical storm. I think it's called Tropical Storm Faye. But yeah, it was not nice. It was constantly raining every day for a week. I mean, we couldn't go anywhere. It actually got to the point where we was all watching TV, and the show that we was watching was cut off because it gave us a hurricane warning. It was like, watch out, there could be a hurricane forming in or around your area. So me and my mum got some provisions. I think by provisions I mean bottles of water and bags of cookies, and we put them in the closet, which had no windows, because that's what you're supposed to do apparently. You're supposed to run to a room that doesn't have any windows. And my sister, brother and dad were just sitting there like, what are you doing? Like, we're not going to get hit by anything. We didn't, but if we did, me and my mum would have survived. So there you go. Fact number 18, a couple of years ago I managed to buy myself an Xbox 360 with money that wasn't even mine technically. Me and my family went on a holiday to Disneyland Paris via the Eurostar, which is the train that goes under the channel. On the way back, it had been snowing, because it was Christmas time. On the way back, it had been snowing, and it really messed up with the tunnel. I don't know what, I think it was something to do with the moisture, but our train went through the tunnel and had to stop and couldn't move for whatever reason. Now, I was pretty young at this age. I thought it was really scary. It was really hot, it was dark. Everyone was like, there were fights breaking out on the train. You know, people were like slamming windows to get them open because it was so hot. It got to the point where we had to walk through a maintenance tunnel to the other track, get on a car freighter train, which has no seats whatsoever. It's literally a train, 4 cars, and we had to take the train back to France. Like, I mean, it makes sense when you think about it, but I mean, we were so close to going through to England, we had to go all the way back to France. We then had to wait in France, in that train. We wasn't allowed out for whatever reason. We had to stay in that train for about 10 hours. And all we had to drink and eat was a bottle of water and 1 croissant, pretty much like per family. It ended up taking us 14 hours to go from France to the Channel Tunnel to back to France to then back to England again. It was terrible. And the cheek of Eurostar, they sent us a fruit, or like not a fruit basket, but like a nice little basket. Like, oh, sorry that it happened. My mum sent it back. She sent it back to Eurostar and was like, shove that, we want actual money. So they was like, alright, fine. They gave us some compensation, and that's how I bought my Xbox 360. Fact 19 now is that my mum's pretty organised when it comes to Christmas. She likes being very organised, she likes getting presents for people early, which is why she always asks the kids to make a Christmas list. One year I really wanted to get a dog. Like, I always asked to get a dog, but this year I was like, I really want one, so I'm just going to put it on the list and see what happens. And yeah, I got a dog. This was the present that was given to me on Christmas Day. That was also the day I learned I should be a lot more in detail with what I asked for. I mean, to be fair, I did ask for a dog, and I got a dog. Fact number 20, I'm pretty sure this is fact number 20. The final fact is that my body's a little bit weird. I am pigeon-chested. If you don't know what that means, it means that this area of the chest is kind of like indented, as if I've been like punched really hard in the chest. I don't know if you'll be able to really see it. I'll try it from the side. But like, that is where my actual chest is, and then that's the hole there. You can see. I have a hole in my chest. I am Iron Man, essentially. You can pretty much see it from this. You can see the creases in the shirt. My chest goes way inwards. I've only met one other person that had a pigeon chest, and it's definitely not as bad as mine. I, quite frankly, am a freak of nature. So I'm pretty sure that was 20 facts about me. It might have been 19. If it is, I apologise. I'm terrible at keeping count. I've got all of my facts written down. I actually just made one off by heart, which is what threw me a little bit. But yeah, if you like this video, leave a like on it. If you're new, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. See ya. How the hell did he save that? Let's go back. No, it's not.